Well, hello.
Hello. I've missed you girls so much.
My gosh, what a long couple of weeks it's been. Kelly, Adam, how are you?
We're good.
What a start to the season. We came back and then had to take a break because poor little Adam had unforeseen emergencies, but he's good now.
Truth be told, my little brother had his apartment flooded.
Oh, man.
On the day of our recording last week. So I'm such a great brother that I went out of my way and helped him get the water out of his apartment.
I hope you told him what a great brother you are, Adam.
Yeah.
Made me miss our 90's now recording. Ugh.
That's it.
We're back here. Your brother's in a good spot and getting his apartment all fixed.
Yes,
which
sir.
we can say like easily like that. We know that he's going to be 6 months in waiting for it to be all fixed.
And truth be told, his new apartment is nicer than the place he has.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
That'll be fun to leave that, eh? Kelly, you're safe where you are. Everything's good.
Knock on wood. So far, so good. Yep.
I hear that. Same here. It's
And
still
we hope
summertime, but sorry.
Sharon, we hope every listener is okay. You know, just
of course, man. There's a lot going on in the world right now, weather-wise. We know a lot of people have been mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. So we'll talk about that a little bit. As far as what we've got going on today, we've got a revisit to some comedy horror movie vibes that have nothing to do with the funeral, but some witchy sisters, which is coming up pretty soon. We've also got another famous Brit who says he actually misses the famous feuding with another famous Brit. So that'll take us back a few years, 90's style. And you know what? Despite what we've always heard about the most popular family feuds in the UK, it seems that the change in tides, or at least for the time where the British royal family has been mourning the loss of their matriarch, it seems that things are good. Things are, well, from my eye anyways, and I think we're all seeing the same thing. So I figured we should start there. I thought quite powerful that a woman that committed her life to duty and to serving, that she did that up until 2 days before she died, which is incredible to me. So 70 years on the job. Her Majesty the Queen got to appoint her 15th new British Prime Minister, and did that just, again, 2 days before she passed. Elsewhere in the feuding chapter, the William and Harry and their wives all seem to be happy and getting along and seemed very thankful. Similarly, Princess Anne, Andrew, Edward, along with their spouses and kids, were all on hand to honor the Queen, which was amazing to watch. Did you guys watch the funeral?
I watched a few little parts of it. Yeah.
How about you, Cal?
Yeah, I watched sections, and they said that about half the world's population was going to tune in at some point.
Wow.
What I read today was that 7.7 billion people had watched at least some of the broadcast of the funeral.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. I will say too, because I sent you both an article, and I noticed this as it was happening. So when I saw the article, it just sort of confirmed what I had noticed hours earlier. I watched the different parts of the funeral on different networks, if you want to call it that. So I'd watched a bit with like Good Morning America, because I wanted to see how they were handling it, because I like a lot of their anchors. I checked in to see what our people were doing up here in Canada. And then at one point I was doing a lot of work on the computer. So I just kind of had the BBC live stream on YouTube in the background.
Yep.
And can I just say that the Brits know how to do this right? Because for most of the sections that I was watching, it was just the audio of what was happening.
Yeah.
So the commentators kept their mouths shut unless they really felt like they needed to clarify something or make you understand that, like, this is why this is happening, or, you know what I mean? But like, I would say a good 85%, they were zip-lipped, you know?
Yeah.
And then in some of the other places I watched, they wouldn't shut their yaps. And it was like really frustrating, because I'm like, you don't have to fill space. Like, this is such a moving moment. Just let the audio and the scene handle us.
And you know what? It's a challenge in our business, whether it's visual or audio, to be able to leave space for like there to be nothing. You know, there's a lot of people that are afraid to leave any sort of gap, any sort of pause, anything like that. But when it comes to the visuals that were a part of the ceremony for the Queen, I think that, like you said, it just was something to behold. And to think also, like, for the three of us of all different ages, our whole lives, she has been the Queen.
Yeah.
And, you know, God willing and touch wood and everything, for the rest of our lives, we will likely see two new monarchs. We have King Charles now, and, you know, like I said, God willing and all that, William will be next. And we'll see that. So I find that compelling. The idea that a female monarch, we won't see another one.
That really bothers me. Can I tell you that? Like, it's weird because like it has hit. I knew it was coming too. Like, you know, it's coming, but because she's always been there, and now she's not, it's like this void already.
Yeah.
It's a crazy feeling now, because my better half was like, why are you like not like feeling great? I'm like, because I know I'll never see another female monarch again. Just like I know I'm never going to be in the Olympics. That's also sad. In my life.
You've really got a lot to deal with, Kel.
Had to come to terms with that one.
We should really make that poll happen. What's going to happen first? Kelly in the Olympics or new monarch?
I feel I could probably still do, like, what is that, like skeet shooting? Like, I could probably handle that, but
Is
like,
that biathlon?
Yeah, I'm not going to be a gymnast at this point. So
well, you never know, Kel.
Yeah.
I'd buy a ticket to that show.
Yeah.
Kelly's
That
gymnastic program. Okay.
we know what the floor routine music would encompass, some sort of Janet tune.
Well, of course. Well, it seems sort of weird to wrap up the Queen in this way. And I think, at least personally, I know it'll be a weird feeling moving forward, knowing that she's not there. Not that I ever had the honor of meeting her. Just as far as my life to this point, she's always been there. And now she's not. And that's kind of weird to me. That said, in a weird way, because of her job, they've been planning this. I think it's for 50 years, at least.
It's been a while.
Planning her funeral for this long. So they were ready.
London Bridge Protocol was ready to go. Exactly
that.
So, and then they had protocol, as you know, for depending where she passed away. Like, they had a certain if she passed away at Balmoral, like all these different, and
she did, again, and that was the unicorn plan, right?
Right. And a shout out to like the people that, because I heard there's one guy, and I forget his name, but I think there's one guy that's in charge of all of it. Like, so obviously he's got X amount of people underneath him to work the various things, but he's responsible. Like, that is his job, was to handle that. Right. So I can only imagine how exhausted he is today. And also, one thing I did want to mention too, you know, because throughout our lives, there's always this whole like male female thing, like where, especially it's, you know, proven fact that women are not paid the same as men and all that sort of stuff. It is very touching to me to know how many men showed up to pay their respects to the Queen, to, you know, who was there, like a female leader. And like, I saw a guy last night on like a feature they were doing on Sky News, and he was ex-military, and I guess he's in his 60s or 70s. And he actually broke down crying. He's like, she was my boss. He said, she was ma'am. She was my boss for 22 years. And now and then he started crying. And like, he's this big, like tough rumble guy. And like, that just, I don't know, because I'm sure he's not the only one. And that spoke to me a lot.
I found it interesting that different religions were making their way into the church. Certain representatives of different countries, delegates and the like, were making their way in. That, again, it's based on respect. And I think it's the whole, what you put out, you get back. And clearly she did a great job in that regard.
Yeah, exactly.
So may she rest in peace.
And she also had the best hats.
Gosh, she just looked like such a lovely lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like the idea that Sarah Ferguson will be taking care of the corgis.
I was sad she wasn't there.
No, she was there.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was there. That. She wasn't a part of the procession.
Okay.
But she does live at Windsor,
right?
And yeah, she was there.
Okay, good.
at the end of the ceremony at Windsor, the final ceremony, when they were leaving, the king and Camilla left in a car. Then there were some people walking. Then another car came for William and another car came for Harry. And then, a few people were walking off, and Beatrice and Eugenie and their partners, along with Sarah Ferguson, walked.
Amazing. Okay, good. I didn't, because it's funny, because that was like, there's been so many articles about the funeral and touching on everybody. And like, I didn't see one about Fergie, and I figured they would. The only story I saw was that she had released a statement or something on, I think, on her Instagram, and I saw that. Yeah. So, and also, by the way, I would like to give a shout out to Beatrice and Eugenie, because I thought their Instagram statement was beautiful. Like it was really cool.
Agreed. I loved when you saw the grandchildren holding vigil.
Yeah.
That I thought was incredible. And the Queen's children also, just it really humanized the whole experience for me. Like it was very much a family moment for such a famous family, for such just a family that we've seen sort of evolve over the years, that it seemed very human that they
Princess Anne, by the way, respect. Is a rock star.
Oh my gosh. Agreed.
And I don't know if you know this. So I saw a stat. So apparently over the course of the Queen's tenure, she had done over 21,000 engagements.
Wow.
Princess Anne has done over 20.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. She outworks like almost every year, especially in the last X amount of years, like she outworks everybody. Like she does way more events than anybody else does. She's a rock star. And was she in the Olympics, Sharon, like back in the day?
I want to say yes to that.
I'm pretty sure. Like Adam's going to look that up. Wasn't it like it was horseback, jumping or show jumping or something? Yeah. I can still probably do that. Show jumping in the Olympics.
Do you have a horse?
No, but I could find them. They're nearby.
Okay, so, good.
And ladies and gentlemen, trivia question before we get to the actual trivia. She did compete in the Olympics.
Yay.
Which Olympic was it?
Montreal, 76?
Montreal in 1976.
Sweet. Nice. That's kind of cool. Moment. How cool is that for that she was able to come to one of the realms?
Yeah.
How many times have you heard the word realm this week?
A lot. I also have picked up a new word because it's been raining a lot, and I really like saying it, a deluge.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A deluge is a lot.
It's a lot.
That's cool.
I'm ready for a deluge of trivia.
Well, you know what? I just want to give you a little teaser. There will be more Queen news before the end of this show today.
Okay.
It's a teaser, you guys.
Let's do trivia now.
Let's.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
All right, so trivia time. So we've moved to the hobbies, toys, and games. It's a new card, actually. I've whipped it out. We finished the other one, so we're on to this one now. Inline skates are more commonly known by what name?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
Rollerblades.
Yeah. Have you rollerbladed?
In my life, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Adam?
I have. I used to hate it for so long, and then it was my primary transportation mode for my summer of, I'll say, 2011.
Oh, cool. Kelly, you've never rollerbladed?
No, I've roller skated, but I've never rollerbladed.
You've never taken the two wheels and put them all in a line?
No.
Okay, wait, there's a difference between rollerblading and roller skating?
Yeah. Inline is the rollerblades because they're all in one, and then the roller skates are like a 4
and 2.
Okay, so I have rollerbladed. I have never roller skated.
Oh, you're missing out, Adam. It's amazing.
Sure, I'm sure I am.
Imagine all the disco that went along with the roller.
Well, this is when I went roller skating. Like there was the Recreation Tech in Laval. Do you remember that, Sharon? There was
I've been there.
I did go there though in Laval. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, and well, it's no longer there, from what I gather. It might be condos now. Actually, I feel like.
Probably.
Great, because that's what the world needs more of.
More of condos. Yeah, I know it's not there anymore, but yeah, we used to go in elementary school, and like so every I think you could go like grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you were in grade 6, because that was your last year in elementary school, they made all the other grades get off the ice or off the thing. Yeah, and we got like the last 10 minutes to kind of rollerblade as grade 6s, which was like a big deal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The roller rink that we went to when I was growing up was called Caesar's Palace.
And not the place in Vegas, I'm imagining.
Not even close.
Tom Jones wasn't performing there.
It then turned into a Bureau en Gros, which for our friends in the States is a Staples.
Okay.
And now it's condos. So that's how old I am.
There's a lot of condo action going on.
Yeah.
Where did Adam go? Anyways,
to get his roller skates.
I'm right back. I got texts that I thought were important, so I had to check them out, but they're totally not important. So here I am.
Phew.
Question number dos. Ben Affleck dated which one of his Shakespeare in Love co-stars?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes.
I don't know that.
I do. You should
Did you
totally
see
watch
that
that
movie?
movie though. It's great.
I didn't see that movie. Did you?
Yeah, I did then. So what's that, like more than 20 years ago? So
Adam, can you check? I want to say 97, 99.
I think it is that.
So is it
so good?
Shakespeare in Love?
Yeah. It's very good. Very worth it.
It was in 1998.
No, not the 97 or 99 that I guess.
So close, Cal. So close.
Well, okay, to be fair, it was released on December 25th, 1998. So
Okay.
we'll give you the 99.
Very nice.
Close. Yeah. I forgot that he dated her, but didn't Brad Pitt was with her. She's dated a lot of Hollywood.
A lot of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And now she's settled on isn't he a Hollywood writer? I think her man now or producer. He's one of them.
I wish I remembered his name. But
It's
I
like
don't.
Ben, but not.
Can I make a little aparté? Is that a
Please.
word?
No.
Yes.
What is that?
An aparté. Don't. Can we say that in English? An aparté. A little
Sidebar?
sidebar. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because I'm seeing Gwyneth Paltrow's name and I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing the G and the W, and it made me think of Gwen Stefani. And I just saw her on The Voice last night.
And
I
how was
thought
it?
to myself, the show was okay, but Gwen is just so beautiful.
She is lovely.
Bravo, Gwen Stefani. You look amazing, girl. That's it. That's the end of my sidebar.
I will miss Kelly Clarkson on The View.
I will too. I was not a big fan of Miss Camila Cabello.
Oh no.
She's the newbie, isn't she? She's
Yeah,
she's
she's
new.
newbie. She replaced Kelly. Not a big fan, but
Let me guess. Is she talking too much?
yeah,
I knew it. I knew it.
outfit is not working out. But hey, that's my
Ah.
humble opinion.
Yeah. I had
Kelly
a feeling.
Clarkson, I thought she was so enthusiastic and she loved the music. She loved the songs and she loved being helpful.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she'll be back next season.
I hope so.
Yeah. She, by the way, has so much going on, Miss Kelly Clarkson. I know it's not on the list, but a new album's on the way. She's supposed to be touring next summer. She wants to go to Broadway, although that's not worked out yet, but that's in her manifestation list of things to accomplish.
Oh, nice.
And she's in Ellen DeGeneres' slot for season 4 of the Kelly Clarkson show. So that's already just started. And yeah, she's like, and she, by the way, she's just done an interview. So if you Google this, just Google Kelly Clarkson Variety. And she just did a cover story with them and she looks fantastic and the article's amazing.
And I think she just got her star on the Walk of Fame too. Did I
She
see
did.
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Paula Abdul showed up and so
Everybody showed up, it seemed.
everybody showed up and showed
the
out.
Idol people, I mean.
Kelly C. Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool.
Have you seen her little son, Remington? He's the cutest.
Aw, what a cute name.
Wait, yeah, I think they call him Remy. But
I
I
hope
feel like
so.
if you're going to name him Remington, he just has to be Remington.
And yeah, I think I picture him as a fencer.
So maybe he could do skeet shooting in the Olympics with me.
Yes, exactly.
All their 3 kids are beautiful.
That's true.
That's it. That's
They
all I
come
got.
from good stock.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about Witchy Sisters,
Mhm.
and that wasn't when we were talking about royals at all. We were talking about the comedy horror movie vibes, and we've already talked about this. It's been a few weeks, probably toward the just before our summer break.
Mhm.
And it was for Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
And now by Showtime, where you guys are hearing this, it will likely be available, right? The sequel to the first movie, which is 30 years later now.
93, I think we said.
Yeah. So by the time, like, I guess 29 years later, but that's a lot of years later, either way, 29 or 30. And by the end of September, it would be available. So that's kind of cool. And all the sisters are back at the cauldron.
I think a
Yeah,
lot of
see what I
people
did
since
there?
the pandemic are very much into nostalgia, and they already were, I think, before, but like this stuff makes you feel good.
Yeah. Had you seen Hocus Pocus, the first one?
No, I've seen clips of it, but never the full. I'm so behind in movies. I'm behind now. Like,
Well, if you haven't seen it 29, 30 years later, then yeah, you are behind the
I
movie.
should probably get on that. Did you
That
guys
said,
see
I never
Top
saw it
Gun? I
either.
think Adam did, right? Because
I did.
You did see? Did you go to the theater? Shannon?
Yes.
No?
Which movie?
Top Gun.
Maverick.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you went.
Oh,
I did not.
it was me.
Okay. And
It's so good.
Okay, good. Okay.
So easy to watch, but like so fun.
Mhm.
It's exactly like it's a perfect pick up from where they left off, but they didn't leave off. They had like a whole life, and it was just a well told story and
Okay.
fun.
And we all know
Action.
that doesn't always happen with sequels. So.
No.
No, I liked it a lot. I think you'll like it.
Cool.
Mhm.
2 thumbs up. What else? Oh yeah, it was another British feud that we were alluding to earlier, and it is Robbie Williams, who says that he misses the feuding days of the past with Noel Gallagher. Can you imagine that? This was a feud that started after Noel called him a name, the Fat Dancer from Take That. Like, and he misses those days. He said, Robbie Williams says that you don't see that kind of jabbing now. The pop stars aren't allowed to generate those kinds of headlines, I guess. So
I wish they were, though.
Yeah, but that's such a load of business because like there's been feuds like, you know, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, like only a few years ago. You know what I mean? Like it still goes on. And Nicki Minaj, is it that she doesn't get along with Cardi B? There's still beef that happens, you know, fabricated or not. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. Maybe over in Britain it's not, but
well, maybe you think of the two people, the Robbie Williams and the Noel Gallagher. They both fancy themselves pretty.
Yeah, they're also
it's not like they're
healthy.
boastful. They're not. They're just like a confidence about them that I think irks people, and they don't have a problem with it irking you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I like that he says, I think that we lived in a more fun time. It was a more heady, more controversial, more saying things for the sake of grabbing headlines. Duh. And he says, I kind of miss those days, even though that was aimed at me. It's like, we're not allowed to do that stuff anymore. It's a shame. Okay, guy. What I will say, though, is that there's a talk of a possible tour for Motley Crue.
Oh.
And maybe a Vegas residency.
Would you go?
No.
Okay.
Why? I'll refer back to the internet, which we were just talking about. And there are video clips of Motley Crue's, I don't remember what performance it was, but it's not that old, like recent. And after seeing those videos, which I would suggest you go and find afterward, Vince Neil laboring through these live performances, I can't imagine how he would get through a performance. It seemed like he was having a hard time, out of breath, red face. Sounds like he's making up the lyrics, and certainly somebody put this video together where they're putting up the lyrics that he sounds like he's saying. So it's a little bit comical at the same time. But like, if you're really analyzing it, you're like, how is this even possible? That said, this tour and possible residency in Vegas is being forecast for 2024. So there's time, I guess, for some level of clean living or fitness to be applied to the situation. But if it were to happen like by the end of this year, within the next few months, I'd be shocked. Shocked, you guys.
So is it that he's like not in fitness? Is that what you think is happening?
I wouldn't call that fitness.
I follow Nikki Sixx, and he talks about how he works very hard to get ready for tour.
I'm sure. I can't imagine it's an easy thing to do. I don't have any experience with touring or anything like that, but brother, like when you think of like going to the gym and working out for however long, it's exhausting. And imagine that probably times 2, because you're not working out for more than an hour generally, I'd bet. So you're on stage for 2 hours nonstop. You don't get to really take a break, right? Like, I gotta sit down. No one's down with that. And then you got to do it again tomorrow, you know, and for the rest of whatever, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. Sometimes people go on tour for like a year or 2 years because they planned the breaks in there, but still, like, it's hard.
Yeah, especially too if you are like playing an instrument that's demanding, or a pop act like Janet, or a like a Justin Bieber or whatever, where you're dancing all over the place and you've got to keep it all together. So
yeah, you can't just like, I'll give it a try. You got to be good.
Yeah. Well, I remember,
Right?
I think you and I've talked about this before, Sharon, but like, I've interviewed Janet's trainer before on the Kelly Alexander show.
Yeah.
And like he'd mentioned in an article even before that that like if you put a triathlete at a 10 or whatever, Janet was at an 8. Like she, because she has to be in that good shape to keep, because and it was funny because recently Tina and I we were talking to a former Janet dancer on our show Just Dance, and they talked about out of the 20 songs, somewhere between 15 and 18 of them were dance numbers.
That's a lot.
So imagine like and Janet's doing that, and she doesn't get a break, like sometimes Tina would say like, oh, we might get 90 seconds or whatever, or even maybe 3 or 4 minutes if Janet was doing ballads or whatever. But then, and she's like, we're backstage, getting changed, huffing and puffing, sucking down water. But Janet doesn't have that luxury, because Janet too, when she does costume changes, like she's off and on in like 60 seconds or less, and then she doesn't get a break because she's a solo artist.
Of course.
So,
but they make plans for that. So maybe that's maybe in our dissection of this situation, maybe that's their actual plan. If they're looking at it for, in over a full year from now, that they'll take that time and really make great use of it. And it's not like they're not capable, I just think that Vince could use some help at this time. Knowing nothing, I'm just suggesting that what I have seen does not look like manipulated video. It just doesn't look good.
We'll see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
We didn't tease about this, but there's news about new music from Mariah Carey too, eh? A couple of new ventures for her, not just music, but was it a show? Is that what I was reading?
She just celebrated the 25th anniversary of Butterfly, which people were very excited about. And she released, I think there was some sort of compilation or new remix album to go with that.
Cool.
Then she says a themed album is coming up at some point.
And then there was like a rock album too.
And then there's an alternative album that she recorded in the 90s when she was going through all of her stuff with Tommy Mottola.
Right.
And she kind of had this like alt personality.
Sweet.
She wanted to release it back in the day, but the label freaked out. And so now it sounds like that's going to be coming out too. And apparently it's bananas.
That's kind of cool though.
So we'll get that, which is neat.
By the way, shout out to Mariah Carey. She loves her fans. She recently surprised a bunch of them on Twitter, because they have these things called Twitter Spaces where fans, or you can have a Twitter space about shower curtain rings if you want, if there's like-minded people that are into shower curtain rings, like you could talk about that. So a bunch of I've seen them for Janet stuff. Mariah Carey, she jumped in on one of these things.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that awesome? Like, she loves her fans. Like, she's probably one of the
was it a video? Did she tweet it? What happened?
Like about being in this Twitter space?
Yeah,
it's an only audio. So you can,
okay, cool.
So I don't have the link. I could probably find it though, but you can go and you re-listen to it. But yeah, like, because often fans have a discussion, let's say about the 25th anniversary of Butterfly. And so they might've been discussing, and then she could have jumped in and like surprised them, which like, I'm not sure if she was invited or she surprised them, but she was on that thing.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, I think that we can look forward to whatever she says she's going to do. I'm in. It's going to be good.
Mariah.
Now, as we near the end of this showgram, that we've got, it's called 90's now. And we talked about the Queen at the beginning of the show, who was in her 90s and very now. We're going to tie it up with a 90's rewind that will feature the best of Queen music from the 90s.
Wow.
Good job, Sharon.
Some Queen songs I thought that would be cool. As a side note, one of them that takes us back to the 70s that got a rebirth thanks to at least one Canadian in Wayne's World. Wayne, of course, being the Canadian, thanks to Mike Myers and his contribution. to the film, and the soundtrack that brought Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, sidebar to this was that there was news also around the last 24 to 48 hours and video that came out of our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who was filmed singing Bohemian Rhapsody by the piano in the bar of his hotel ahead of the funeral. And funny, I look at it and I think there's a cool guy. He's a fan of the music. He can see that there's something in singing Queen music as he's there to pay, tribute to the Queen. But it's funny to look at the internet because there's always those people that are just ready to, think the negative of it.
Mm-hmm.
How inappropriate.
For a Man Alone. It wasn't even a show. It wasn't a display.
No, exactly.
He was just having fun with his group and his entourage. Just leave the man alone.
I didn't think he was doing anything negative. I thought it was just apropos,
Yeah,
but there's always those people just waiting.
Keyboard warriors, Sharon.
Oh yes, they're very brave. So Bohemian Rhapsody would have taken us back to the mid 70s, but since it was such a nice part of the soundtrack to Wayne's World, we got rebirth on that one. So how about this though? The title track to the Innuendo album, along with a couple other tunes like Headlong, and the musical push that we could all use in tough times, such as the ones we've been dealing with. The Show Must Go On. I love that song. Innuendo was the last album released in Freddie Mercury's lifetime, so he too worked right till the end. He died in November of 1991, so we are coming up on the 31st anniversary of his passing. But in honor of the Queen's songs for your 90s Rewind.
Good job, Sharon.
Thanks, Kale. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
That's enough.
That's enough. Well, if that's enough, then goodbye.
Yes.
Yeah. We appreciate it, everybody, finding us wherever it is that you do. We are 2 episodes into season 11, which is kind of mind-blowing to think that we've been doing this for this long, talking about all the fun in the 90s and yet not ever really running out of things to talk about. So thank you to Kelly. Thank you to Adam. I appreciate the conversation, you guys, as always. And I know as a trio, we are thankful that you guys are listening to 90s Now. Still happening.